Hi, everybody. It's me, Patricia Cori, coming to you live with some commentary on something that I think we are all pretty shocked about and disturbed about, and that is the absurd attack. Well, there's so much absurdity. How can you pick something out? But I'm watching the proliferation of attacks on Tesla cars, and I always look beyond everything that I see or I'm presented and ask, what is going on here? What is really going on here? How can this hatred be so fomented that people, knowing that they're now being prosecuted, so there are examples of people that are being prosecuted and will go to jail for this. And we're not just talking about keying cars or dumping paint on them or setting them on fire. We've got, Molotov cocktails going into Tesla dealerships, and it's just accelerating. And you cannot help but ask yourself: is the world insane to the point where, excuse me, every time it must be a nervous reaction. Every time I do a video, my nose itches. Um, what's going on behind? What is the motivator? And it clearly, to me, there is no question that there's more going on here than just insane, enraged people. Because the insanity, the targeting of innocent people just happened to have bought a car, a Tesla, which these same people that are doing the damage believed in a month ago. It was all the rage for the Green Deal, right? Get an electric car. It was the thing to do. And now all of a sudden it is the center and focus of all hate because of the orchestrated, is the word, hatred against Musk. The question is not, is there an orchestration? We know that people in high positions are calling people in Congress. What a mess the Congress is, but that's a conversation for another minute. Calling for people to protest. And we know that there's more to the call than just go out and voice your opinion. So they're being called to riot and destroy. And it's, I look at it and I say to myself, how did these people get into such a state of mind control that somebody can flip a switch? That's a tongue twister. Somebody can flip a switch and people are driven to, pardon the pun, to go out and commit these acts, these insane random acts against what? What do you think you're accomplishing by lighting up somebody's car? Clearly these people are under some kind of mind control. I wonder if you agree with me, because it's so much like, I always relate a lot of things to the original series of Star Trek, which people poo-poo because it was so amateurish in so many ways. But again, it was the 60s. So even if the sets were comical, it had such important messages. And I'm reminded of so many moments in the Star Trek series. One of them was when they land on a planet where when they land, everything's peaceful and nice. But at 12 o'clock, when the clock strikes, the entire population goes berserk. It starts beating the hell out of each other and rioting. And then boom, the clock goes again and they go back to peace. And it was such a representation of how people are somehow being triggered mentally and emotionally, of course. But it's so much like that episode. I don't know the name of it, but if you ever saw it, you know the one I'm talking about. It's like boom, the bell rings and people go berserk. So what is this bell that's going off in people's minds? Does it have to do with the Jabberwocky and what was inserted in there, or is it attached to some sort of frequency that's coming out of the television, or any kind of devices? I'm screaming about devices all the time and how we're being entrained by them. But what is the element? Is there a word? How are so many millions of people being triggered by some sort of mind control. It's really frightening. And it's like bing, attack, and then boom, off they go. It's just, it's like a zombie movie. I mean, I'm not a big fan of sci-fi, but we've seen this, right? The zombies come awake and they start rampaging through the streets. Honestly, sorry, I've got a bit of a cough. And so I thought I'd throw this out to you today because I think it's important for us to contemplate this in the big picture of what is underway here. Is it that easy to control a segment of the population to perform your command? And more importantly, how is that being done? Because I can't believe that this many people are insane. And if they are, we better be opening the insane asylums really soon. So I watched a video this morning of a guy who was confronted by the police and the owner of a car that he had torched. No, I think he spray painted it. And he was saying, mm, that's probably a pronoun I'm not supposed to be using to describe this person. He was saying, I don't really know. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. And the cop said, well, it's a little bit worse than you saying you're sorry because you've committed a felony. Felony? He was completely befuddled. How could that be a felony? I mean, I'm sorry I did it. He said, you committed major damage to someone's property, and it's a felony if it's over $1,000 worth of property. It's not a misdemeanor, it's a felony. And he goes, felony? But I said I'm sorry. And I'm watching this going, there's something really intense going on here, people. This is not just a bunch of people voicing their unexplained rage for Musk, which again, we have to ask ourselves why. If not for the fact that they're being triggered by beings that are pissed that Trump is, Trump and Musk are uncovering all of these expenditures, starting with US aid. Oh, I really got to be careful. I keep forgetting I'm on the two, but it's got to be more than that. So in other words, let's say Dow Chemical, have been receiving funds covertly. And my rep in government, I tell them, you better go tell your constituents to get out there and protest. We need to stop Musk. Is that it? So they tell their constituents, like this Crockett woman in Congress, go out and destroy. And they diligently go. What does that say about our population? This is not only happening only in America now, it's happening in Europe too. And you think, well, somebody said to me, because I get the weirdest comments, and somebody said, well, it doesn't affect me. I can't worry about everything. I said, first of all, well, that's nice. You don't have a Tesla to worry about, but it does affect you. It's humanity. It's the decline of humanity. If we don't start recognizing it affects all of us, we're going down here, people. Of course it affects you. Get involved. We have to stop this. If we're just going to roll over and say, well, yeah, it's too bad, there's no hope for our civilization. And moreover, if there's a force besides a maniac person in leadership saying go out and destroy, if there's a technique or a tool or some kind of mind control device that they're able to trigger, oh my God. Oh my God. What if the next message is bigger than just Tesla? So I thought I'd come here and throw this out to you and ask, what is your opinion about this? Leave your comments here, because this is representative of a real huge problem we keep dancing around. It's like, oh no, Orange Man bad, everybody hates him. For why? Why were they able to create such a hatred around Trump? What was utilized to create that besides media? Is media strong enough to create that kind of, I mean, the word is hatred. These people want to, I'm not going to use the word unalive because it just drives me out of my mind. So let's say cause to be gone. People calling for that. People who appear to be insane. Is insanity at that point so prolific in our societies? So many people in a state of insanity where they don't realize what they're doing? Is hatred that endemic? My. We do have a problem on planet Earth. So, anyway, it was a thought that I wanted to share with you and ask as you see these things happening, burning it down, Molotov cocktails. Honestly, but the reason I came to you to discuss this is to question, to discuss, to bring about discussion regarding mind control and how people are being orchestrated to the point where they don't even know what they're doing. This guy that I saw today, he was nonplussed. When the police were there to arrest him, he's like, "What? Why? What?" It's like, well, I was angry. Cop says, "Well, we were angry. I was angry at Elon Musk." I said, "So you damaged this person's property?" "Well, I didn't mean it." And it's like he seemed really confused. This is what triggered this brief YouTube message. His response, he seemed like he didn't understand what had happened. It's like, what's the big deal? What I don't know. I was and I just wonder, do we have a Manchurian candidate kind of situation here where people are boom getting some kind of a frequency and performing according to what they're hearing in their head? Is it coming through their device? Is it a frequency in their brain? Something is going on here. And then why are some of us not affected by these things? I'm always convinced that you need to unplug the television and, by God, unplug it completely at night. I told a story some time ago that I have a TV here, but I don't have a TV because I gave it up, cable, a whole bit, more than 20 years ago, when I was looking at it going, I'm paying for this garbage? But I still have a TV because I have a collection of DVDs and that's my entertainment. So many months ago, at 3 o'clock in the morning, the TV went on. And the light, the little red dot, supposedly for the remote, was flickering. And I was like, oh my God, somebody's watching me. So it got ripped out of the wall. And we just sit there like the little robots. We watch our programs. And it seems all very innocuous enough until you realize they're watching us. What is really being sent through that TV? We are moving into such a surveillance society at this time and still clinging to what life was like before the technological era. Still believing, it's just entertainment. I'd like you to think about this, if you aren't already, and consider if these people are being triggered by some mind control device, my mind. And if it's not, and they're just that full of hatred and ignorance, double my mind. This is a representation of a completely dystopian situation. And I don't envy Trump for having to try to figure out how to cope with it. But one good way, for sure, is what he's doing. if the legal system will allow him to uh, execute his role as president, and that is to put these people in jail. Wakey, wakey time. Get them into jail. You scratch somebody's car, you blow up a station, it's jail time. Maybe this will break the spell. What do you think about this? I'd love to hear your opinion. Alrighty, that's all I have for now. I want to remind you, please, that your subscriptions keep getting unsubscribed, so please be sure you're subscribed, and if not, resubscribe. And if you haven't yet, if you want to keep me contemplating reality on YouTube, give me a subscribe and a like. And know that I'm going to be doing a live workshop, a very intensive workshop in Glastonbury on the 23rd of July. There's more information about that on my site. And I'm also going to be the keynote speaker on the 27th, a few days later, at the Glastonbury Symposium. So more information for that is available at patriciacori.com. Come on. You know, I can do a lot more and say a lot more and empower you a lot more when we're eye to eye, if you get my drift. Thanks for tuning in. Stay awake. The battle is on. The battle of darkness and light is in full swing. Are you empowered? This is Patricia Cori signing out. Oh. Trying to sign out. There's no sign out. Oh, here we go. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Take care, everybody.